Hello everyone, this is Cynthia Thinnis and welcome to my channel. Today I would like to talk about what is probably one of the most divisive issues when it comes to Western astrology, and that is the outer planets and what to do with them. Over the past 5 weeks, I've been discussing and talking about the traditional model of the cosmos. And of course, the outer planets are not a part of the traditional model of the cosmos. They were not used in astrology. They weren't even really known about before the last couple hundred years. So what do we do with them? How do we fit them in, or do we fit them in? Very strict traditional classical astrologers don't include them at all. They're not a part of the system. Classical writers didn't write about them. The reason for this is in part because of the doctrine of visibility, which I discussed last week, that these planets aren't visible to the naked eye and therefore they don't influence us. Other astrologers in modern astrology, the outer planets are used extensively, and in fact there are some branches such as evolutionary astrology that use them to the extent that they're almost more important than the traditional planets. So where do I stand? This is a subject I've thought about, I've researched for quite some time now. For about 5 years, I didn't use the outer planets at all. Now I do to a limited extent. Throughout these years, I've developed a theory as to this. I don't want to talk about the whole theory right now. I will put some links to articles that I've written in the description section of this that discusses my thoughts and my ideas and the theories and hypotheses I have. But what I want to discuss right now is how they relate when I'm talking about the traditional model of the cosmos. To start with, they are absolutely not a part of the traditional model of the cosmos. They don't change the traditional model. They're not a part of it. But that's a separate question as to whether or not they can be used or whether or not they have meaning in applied astrology. And I have come to believe that they can have meaning. And this is why. Since they've been around in our consciousness, they have become a part of at least some people's practice of astrology. And in fact, a lot of people, and except for the last couple decades, when traditional classical astrology has started to gain influence, they had been used. And there, in fact, there's some that use them synonymously with signs and houses as well. I don't agree with that use, but I do think that the fact that they have been used, they are part of our consciousness. They are part of the public perception of what the solar system looks like. I think that in itself gives them meaning if we let them. In an earlier episode of this, I talked about the lunary sphere. The lunary sphere includes our thoughts, our perceptions, our dreams, what we look at on TV. And I also stated, and I believe, that these have meaning. These can have very practical meanings. And it's not just a matter of, our thoughts produce things on the material world, which I think they do. But there are some very practical things. Some examples I used were that countries and economies are all part of the lunary sphere, and you can't deny the impact that they have on the material world. And I don't think just knowing about the planets and using them in astrology makes them have impact. I think that the principles that they've come to represent have become a part of our culture. And I think they become part of our culture to the extent that some people even think that these concepts are desirable. There's a theory out there that there are actually higher octaves of the other planets. I think that's actually wrong. And again, I've discussed that in the articles that I've linked below. I think that they can have meaning, but I also think that they can be avoided. Now, this is a theory unlike the other things I've brought in other episodes. This is my ideas, my research. It doesn't have the backing of millennia of tradition. It's just my theory, and that's the level we're at. So thank you so much for watching. And if you have any comments or questions or want to discuss this, please use the comment section. If you like this video, please press like. If you want notifications of future videos, please subscribe and ring the bell. And this will be all for this series, but don't worry, I have more to talk about, so stay tuned next week. Bye for now.